my presentation, I'll go into different aspects of architecture. First session and the second session, second half, I'll go on to the ecology and environment, and both how this architecture and ecology they are related with spirituality and consciousness. Though it is not, I am not a student of philosophy or anything, but because of my meditation and all, I'll just try to share some of my experiences. Art and architecture. Art and architecture can be spiritual when they evoke a sense of awe, transcendence, and connection to the divine. Sacred geometry is a mathematical framework that architects use to create symbolic meaning and spiritual significance in buildings. I will discuss the sacred geometry in the next slide in details. Religious buildings like churches, mosques, and temples often use high ceilings, stained glass, and intricate details to create a sense of transcendence. Now, I have restored churches and temples in various parts of India. I'll elaborate later on. Space is a spiritual dimension of architecture and have a lot to do with the emotions, and they also have a sense of that touches our mind and visions. The emotional power of an artist can help him find the internal truth of his art, and that can lead to spiritual experience. The awakening of senses is through the concept of minimalism that keeps a space decluttered, admirably simple, and makes it easier to perceive it at the moment. Sacred architecture demands in-depth study for self-spiritual self-identification. Conscious architecture creates improved well-being, imbibes positive emotions, reduces stress, and enhances the overall quality of life. Nature is the ultimate guide when it comes to design. The intricate patterns existing in nature or the earthly essence can effortlessly accentuate the aesthetics of a room and offer a warm experience. The space has to be a beautiful replica of the natural environment. Now I come to the sacred geometry. The sacred geometry involves using geometric patterns and proportions to create designs that are believed to be harmonious, aesthetically pleasing, often rooted in ancient wisdom and spiritual practices. We are coming from the ancestor, the historical significance, well from the Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, and before that also, we find that the geometry is being maintained all through. The key elements, the golden ratio 1.618, it is found in many man-made structures. The second is the Fibonacci sequence, is a number where the sum of the two preceding ones is the number, the numbers they represent, is closely related to the golden ratio and appears in various natural phenomena. Then the platonic solids, these are regular convex polyhedra. We use tetrahedron, we have seen cube, octahedron, all kinds of this symbolic representations. They are used in architectural patterns, in spiritual monuments, in churches, in temples, and mosques, and other Buddhist monasteries, etc. Then fractals, geometrical patterns that are similar, meaning they repeat at different scales and symbolize in infinite complexity of universe. Then there is mandalas and yantras, sacred diagrams represent the universe, are used in temple layouts to align structures with the cosmic forces. Then we have Vastu Purusha Mandala, a foundational creed in Vastu Shastra, a traditional Indian architectural science which defines spatial harmony and aligns structure with the cosmic energy. There are various several examples in ancient architecture where sacred geometries are followed. The modern architects are using it nowadays in different historic buildings, places of very important buildings. The what are the benefits? Is harmony and balance. There is a sustainability and there is an aesthetic appeal. Next slide. Yeah. Conscious architecture focuses on designing spaces that positively impact well-being by with human psychology, considering how physical environments influences emotions, behaviors, and interactions. Conscious design elements are natural light, open layout, tactile materials, biophilic design patterns, use of natural and sustainable materials, incorporating water features like fountains and ponds, which brings peace and tranquility, maintaining good acoustics to enhance sounds of prayer, chanting of music which creates spiritual connections, then the use of color that evokes feeling of serenity, reverence, and spiritual upliftment, use of BHASKAR and choosing building sites and orientation based on energy flow. These are very important when an architect or a planner should consider before designing this kind of elements. It's already been done through the ancient historical precincts, all precincts that is there in the history. Conscious architecture creates improved well-being, imbibe positive emotions, reduce stress, and enhance overall quality of life. Planting of trees surrounding the spiritual entity always creates positive vibration. Next. Architecture should understand and respond to human needs and behaviors within the space and create spaces that promotes positive emotional, psychological, and physical experience. Architecture should encourage sustainable practices and design that minimize environmental impact. Some Indian architectures have performed the inner study and spiritual self-identification. Vastu-shastra, an ancient system, also plays a crucial role in spiritual architecture by guiding the design and layout of buildings to harmonize the natural and cosmic energies, promoting well-being and spiritual growth. It dictates the orientation and layout of buildings, ensuring that harness positive energy from the cosmos. They choose building sites and orientation based on energy flow. Next one, please. Now, I'm talking about the specific direction and spaces we take into consideration. The one is the northeast, which is called Ishan Cone, considered very auspicious and often used for prayer room or place of worship. But this is mandatory. We should follow all these things when identifying the location of the various elements in a spiritual place. Next one is the southwest, associated with stability and strength, used for storage space. Then we have northeast, northwest, and the southeast, linked with the movement and activity. Next. The idol should be placed facing west, so that the person worshipping faces the east direction. Position of diyas should face north, east, or west. We should avoid south, as it is considered inauspicious and leads to loss of wealth. The Garbhagriha, Sanctum Sanctorum, is the innermost, central, and most sacred space, housing the main deity image, and is typically located directly beneath the tall tower, which is called Shikara or Behar. The major components of temple architecture are Garbhagriha or the sanctums, then the Mandapa, the portico which leads the Garbhagriha, where the worshippers assembles, the Shikara, that is the spire above the sanctum, the Vahan, which is the mount or the vehicle of the main deity of the temple, Pradakshina path, meaning the ambulatory passageway for circumambulation, Mandapa, Nat Mandira, is the pillared hall in the front of Garbhagriha for the assembly of devotees, Antarala, meaning vestibule, and Ardha Mandapa, meaning the front porch. And these are the different terms we use where we design and place the different deities for worship, meditation in temples. Next. We have the three types of styles of architecture in India. One is the North Indian style, Nagara style, then in South Indian style, Dravida style, and it's the combination of the two is the Behar style. Now you can see from the location how they are different. Basically, a distinction can be made by comparing the elevation of the temple, forms of the spires, and plans of the temple. Next. The church architecture has evolved to various styles, including early Christian, Byzantine, Romanesque, Gothic, Renaissance, Baroque, and Rococo. Mosque architecture architecture including Arabic style, Persian time, Turkish time, and Indian time. Now, this is an isometric view of a temple showing the Shikara and the Garbhagriha, the Nata Mandira, Mandapa, and also the Gopuram. And this axis is basically in the west-east direction. Next one. Now we are coming to some of the very specific spiritual architectural forms in India and abroad. First I am discussing with Bhakti Mandir, Auroville, Pondicherry. Nestled in the heart of Auroville is Bhakti Mandir, which welcomes people from all walks of life. The design is by Roger Ender, has beautifully succeeded in offering an unparalleled spiritual experience. The design revolves around the concept of representing a mother's vision in the space. The facade of this temple is composed of about 1,415 golden discs, which illustrates a cosmic egg. The building is planned with circular meditation chamber that is accessed by a series of lamps. The interiors are composed of wall cladding of white marble, and placed at the center of the room is a crystal globe that receives a single ray of sunlight that leads to whimsical experience in the room. Now, when anybody goes there, you can find that if you meditate, in any of the rooms, this vibration is super, and you feel a kind of different sensation. Now, there are different colors also based on the chakras. Muladhara chakra, the red, then the orange chakra, then we have the Manipur chakra, yellow, then Anahata chakra is green, and then the Vishuddha chakra, the blue, and Anga chakra, violet. All the colors and all the rooms have been there. You can meditate on the chakras staying there. And also it's a Superman, this kind of mother's vision, this consciousness, supramental consciousness is very much followed and practiced. If you go to the Vivekananda rock also, you can sit on the meditation view, you have a great amount of vibration. So the architecture is being made in such a way that we have proper atmosphere and environment. Next is the Marble Mountain, Diman City, Vietnam. The temple for the god of wealth is nestled at the foot of the Devi Mountains of China. The design was proposed within a natural setting of mountains surrounding the site on all three sides. All three sides are open, and only one side we have the DT, which is made of concrete and this kind of other material, concrete with local bamboo mats. The essence is further enhanced by the square skylight allowing natural light. The next is the Jain temple, this Dilwara temple, Rajasthan. In the 11th, 13th century, it's now as the most significant pilgrimage sites of the Jains. The design is composed of simple approach that also encourage focus on honest reflection on oneself and preaches anti-materialistic helps. It is one of the most integrated, beautiful spiritual structures around the world that follows detailing each design element. Next. Now comes to Cambridge Mosque. The cultural richness and past combined with modern blend of green technology establishes a relationship with history. The roof of the mosque is supported by columns that also serve as a representation of trees. The structure follows Gothic style and fan vaulting and skylights have been strategically incorporated to illuminate the spaces with natural light during the daytime. The amalgamation of natural elements within the built environment offers unmatched spiritual experience. The next one is the Shiva temple, Rajasthan. One such architectural marvel. The design offers contemporary interpretation of typical Shiva temples in India. While the Indian temples are known for heavy embellishments and intricate detailing, these temples manage to evoke a feeling of devotion and submission to God with simplicity. The design that has been executed with interlocking stone joinery details and the imagination of typical Shikha. Natural light enters the hall during the daytime through the interlocking gaps, whereas the interior lighting system extends outside through the same gaps during the night. The temple in stone and light in Rajasthan. Next, some of the other spiritual places. Neolithic Gobekli, the last one. Tepe, southern Turkey, Pantheon in Rome, pyramids of Giza, and Lotus Temple Then this one is Barcelona. These are all spiritual architectural forms. Next slide. Now I'm coming to this very important aspect of conservation and restoration of spiritual monuments. In World Heritage sites, here only very few, 5 to 10% have been listed. And even in the state Ecology or state conservation heritage boards, they have only listed a few of them. Most of the architectural elements, architectural, spiritual temples, and we have churches and other pyramids or kind of things, they are lying uncared for. Now, I have done with some of the Chennai IIT was doing one, Sannyasi was saying that one of the restoration, there was a temple in Tamil Nadu, which was surrounded by bushes and streams. The water body had been filled with litters and all kind of waste materials and everything. And it was lying for hundreds of years or like that. And it was an area where negative energy, negative forces, the wounds, the lieutenants and all the bad elements were ruling that territory. And there was nothing there. So suddenly they decided, the government didn't take any action, not the boards of the central government, but the people raised funds and they started restoring the water body, restoring the main Garbhagriha, and the DT was also placed and the worship started. And doing so within 10-15 years, they say the entire vibration changes. All things of negative elements, all the gundas and everything that fled. So all positive and good people, good thinking prevail. This is one of the last one. I am also involved in the Vishnu temple restoration. You can see the diagram on the top. It's very shabby. The government wanted to demolish. Now, in heritage structure, we cannot demolish. This last we were discussing that they're making a replica of it. It's not permissible as per conservation rules. You have to restore. There are a lot of methods of we can do the restoration. Now, we're talking about the corrosion, non-corrosion, that is, we are using wrought iron earlier. Now, in case Konark temple is got destroyed by the cyclone because of the binder elements of the stone masonry, which got chloride because of chloride penetration from the sea. Now, the passiveness of the lime water that deteriorates, it's gone, and the corrosion is the electrochemical process which started, and the binder got ruined. As well, when there is a breeze and a cyclone and storm, all the stones was dismantled. So this is a lot of way. We classify the heritage, the cause of that deterioration, we classify it, and unlike Europe here, only the architects are doing, and they are not doing proper method of restoration because that is not their entire subject. We need structural engineers, we need geotechnical experts, we need meteorologists, lithologists, then anthropologists, and the geological survey, geologists we need also. A lot of people should be involved, material scientists, chemical engineers. Now, unless we have a team of experts doing on the subject, we may restore it for 5 years, again the problem will still occur. In many cases, because I am doing the restoration for 25 years, abroad as well as India and West Bengal, and I've seen a lot of problems. So it needs, there is no specific courses here. There are no university, no institute have interest, and what they are teaching is not conservation. Now, next slide. Now we move into ecology. Ecology and spiritual, because I'm also 50% of my time I spend on awareness, creating awareness of environment, because we're damaging the environment. It's become irreversible, and the world will slowly and steadily getting destroyed. Now, not because of one or two countries, the entire world will have to suffer. Now, this is going to take care of ecology and spiritual, but I'm coming to this main point. Oldest and the simplest nature of nature worship find expression in the Vedic text. Environment includes water, air, land, human beings, other living creatures, plants, microorganisms, and property and interrelationship that exists among them. Environment also consists of two components: one biotic, living organism, abiotic, non-living organism. Next. Now, 5 great elements, Pancha Mahabhuta, Kiti, Apa, Tejas, Marut, Bhag. One is the earth, water, fire, air, and Akash, sky. Constitutes environment and are all derived from Prakriti, which is the primal energy. Each of these elements has its own life and form. Together, the elements are interconnected and interdependent. The art supports variety of herbs, oceans, rivers, mountains, hills, and is fully responsible for our food and prosperity. Water is essential to all forms of life. We are killing water. There is no water right now. We have pumped out all the water from the ground. Now we face the consequences with no water in 10 to 15 years. Mainly in India also. The water, the sources of water are rainwater, natural springs, wells and canals, lakes and rivers. But there have been a lot of domestic waste, industrial waste, and that's totally damaging the quality of water. Now, this nature is towards the Ogni. It means she is described as a geothermal field. Apparent meaning of Vayu is here. Upanishad throws light on 5 elements of wind inside the body. When we meditate, we do it with wind. It's prana, apana, udana, and samaro. Air resides in the body as life. Air has additional values. Meditated air annihilates pollution and imparts health and hilarity, life and liveliness to people of the world. There is a relationship between ether and sound. The sound waves move in the sky in various frequencies. Scientists could see the sky, which exists only in the vicinity of the earth, but Upanishad throws light on the two types of ether. One inside the body, this is inside consciousness, and the other is outside the body, which scientists are looking for. The ether inside the body is regarded as the seat of mind. Next. The Upanishad explains the interdependence of these 3 elements in relation to Brahma, the supreme reality from which it rises. From Brahma arises space, from space arises air, from air arises fire, from fire it comes water, and from the water arises the earth. Next one, next slide. Ecology. The balance between these constituents of elements and living creatures is essential. It's totally imbalanced right now. A disturbance in the percentage of any of the constituents of the environment beyond certain limit will disturb the natural balance and cause lots of problems in the living being. Nature has maintained creatures in the universe. Now they are under very serious threat. The Vedic sages felt the greatness of these forces: sandstorm, cyclone, intense lightning, terrific thunderclaps, and heavy rush of rain in a monsoon, swift flood. They adored these activities. They worshipped and prayed to them out of awe and fear. They realized instinctively that action, movement, creation, change, and destruction in nature are the results of forces beyond man's control. The unremitting degradation of the environment, which we are discussing, is related to the problem of pollution in the earth, pollution in the air. We are deliberately polluting the entire cosmos, water, space. We have deforestation is practice. We have solid waste disposal is not proper, not sufficient enough. Increasing of level of global warming. We are inculcating the greenhouse gases. We are burning carbon. The carbon footprint is increasing day by day, and thereby we are causing a greenhouse gas, which is not allowing the heat to go back to the atmosphere. There is also ozone layer depletion, which from where the ultraviolet rays are very serious rays coming and causing cancer and other diseases. Then there is also biodiversity. There is depleted forest, pollution in the rivers. We are throwing domestic waste. We are polluting the river with arsenic, cobalt, nickel, cadmium, a lot of things. No industry is doing anything. Nothing is maintained properly. Hey, last slide. Last slide. No. This is the pollution of oceans by poisonous effluents, destruction of the fertility of land by use of pesticides and chemical fertilizer. Now we are not practicing organic farming. Now these are totally destroying, the crops are not fit for. We are having a lot of disease out of this. Decline of biodiversity, the extinction of species, they have jeopardized the entire system of environment. The ecology is damaged. The rapid progress of science and technology and pressure of increasing population have placed the burden of the naturally occurring and sustaining process of ecosystem. As man is dominant organism of most of the most ecosystem. So to fulfill the self-need, they indiscriminately exploited ecological resources such as air, water, space, vegetation, and other non-human species, and hereby created serious ecological crisis and environmental degradation. Now the situation has become so chronic and alarming that the management of environmental degradation and prevention of pollution has become an urgent need. We know it's very difficult. If sound measures are not taken continuously for the deterioration of the environment, may form the condition of extinction, extermination, devastation of human race from the earth. Next one. Next slide. Yeah. If the efforts of the environmental protection through ages, the human beings have been interested in environmental protection since the beginning of the civilization, and it goes back to the prehistoric period. The effort to protect the environment may found to be deeply rooted in the spiritual practice of religious traditions of India. Interpretations of the seals of the Indus Valley civilization unravels the fact that animal was considered as sacred. Next one. Yogic psycho-meditative practices along the yogic ethical lifestyle are enough to neutralize negative thought patterns and attitudes, and is able to promote and develop many positive social, ethical, and spiritual values within the individual. These ethical and spiritual values may lead to an individual to move from individual consciousness to unified consciousness. Through yogic ethical practices, effort is made to sow the seeds of positive values of yama and niyama in the deep bed of subconscious mind. The practice yama, we should not do, something we avoid, and niyama, things we should need to do. Now, these seeds will eventually manifest themselves at the conscious level and bring about changes in the personality. Hence, efficacy of yogic ethical values, yamas and niyamas, are evaluated in the modification of behavioral traits and thereafter achievement of spiritual consciousness. Through violence, one destroys environmental balance by felling of trees and vegetations, killing of wild animals and polluting the whole environment, water, air, earth. But the practice of non-violence, when firmly established, a person can display peace in words, thoughts and deeds, and behaves with God with love towards others. We are not killing birds, we are not killing animals for food, and also that is very, very much required. Next slide. Next. Yogic psycho-physical practices. The practice including asana, pranayama, bandha, mudra, and cleansing process. They act as an integrated system for complete development of physical health along with vital, pranic, mental and intellectual aspects of personality. These group practices act unconsciously over the body-mind equipment and produce complete homeostatic balance within the body. As an immediate effect, it also regulates and harmonizes the neuromuscular, neurohormonal and other biochemical functions, and thereafter coordinates the body-mind equipment. Next one. Environmental consciousness initiates a profound transformation, shaping individual into more efficient beings. These heightened awareness serves as a guiding force, encouraging us to minimize wasteful practices and foster a deep appreciation for the finite resource of the planet. Now, we have natural resources. We are cutting off the mountains, we are drilling for holes, some kind of tunnels and everything. We are destroying everything. We are pumping out water. Now, these all creates a very serious problem of earthquake. Now, the tectonic plates, the fault lines, the hinges, which is there in different parts, every time it's making vibrating. And if it's not damping, putting out water, we reducing the damping factor. And there is a Calcutta and some of the areas, if anything that happens, it can go and under the sea. Bombay is also on the threat. Next. Amidst the looming threats of soil degradation, air and water pollution, and tinted sky, the prospects of zero pollution ecosystem emerges as a potential solution. Achieving zero pollution at a global scale may seem ambitious. An efficient eco-spiritual life in an attainable goal with dedication and practice. Making practice like satsang and yoga as a core element of our daily routine serves as a compass keeping us on the conscious path. The spiritual practice not only nourishes the soul but also fosters a deep connection with the environment. These are very relationship between spiritual practices and environment. Participation in an organization and initiative focused on environmental preservation in a community becomes a collective responsibility. Whether it's planting of trees, cleaning water bodies, or advocating for sustainable practices, these initiatives strengthens the communal bond towards safeguarding the environment. Next one. These are different causes. You see, this air pollution from the industry, the Ganges have been polluted, this water pollution. This is also kind of a river pond being polluted with biomedical waste. Then there is a polluted water from the industries putting on to the Ganges. On the rivers is a plastic pollution. Now there is, of course, there's a dumping of everything there. There's incinerating everything. This is all creating this global warming, greenhouse gases. Entire thing, like rubbish kind of thing. You can see last slide. There's a fog, the mist. The entire area of the Delhi, Calcutta, you cannot see the vision. And there's a respiratory problem everywhere. Next one. This environment is made to class by these acts. Global warming was seen. Now excavation, tunneling, then drawing out, pumping out water, making tunnels. Now their river has been closed by filling out earth for development, and then there's a deforestation activity. Next one. Yeah. This is the effect. The fire, the earthquake, the flood, the tornado, the soil erosion, the avalanche, the drought. There's also the glaciers melting, the volcano, then there's a falling of mountain slides and the fire. Last slide. The salient points of controlling environment degradation. Next is conserve energy. Next, practice sustainable transportation. You better walk, bike, or use public transportation. Even everybody in the family having a car. It's not good. Plant trees, enough trees. Recycle. Recycle is very important. Use renewable energy, solar energy, nuclear energy, wind energy, and other forms. Preserve biodiversity. Mitigate climate change. Promote sustainable development. Limit exposure to harmful substances. Make informed decisions. And last, preserve the planet for future generations. This is some of the slides. We can keep oxygen producing plants and carbon dioxide absorbing plants in the house. These are all positive energy elements for tree and money plant. You can keep in the house. The medicinal plant on the left. So you can have this kind of greenery all around. Next. And these are the reverence to the Mother Earth. We are doing fire, worshipping fire, the Ganges, the earth, and worshipping the animals, and doing rituals, all these jajanats, and these will create a positive effects on the environment itself and the ecology itself, and the art can survive more. I think this we come to the end of my presentation. We'll get some questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sengupta. Yesterday I was telling somebody that one of the reasons I took to monuments was because I used to be scared of glaciers. I used to be scared of architecture. It used to be very intimidating and it used to be very technical to me. But thank you for making this very meaningful today, not only for me but for all of us. So a big thank you for this wide-ranging presentation. I was also mentioning in the first part, which is the inaugural session, that one of the USPs of the conference like this is to bring a kind of a 360-degree view. So yesterday we had academics, and we have performances, we have play as well, and we have practitioners, industry experts, bringing in the knowledge from the engineering and the technical architecture side
Environment also.
and environment, and bringing together, and how connecting this art and architecture to elements of ecology and to elements of spirituality. What I found particularly striking when I was trying to note that was how different kinds of spiritual architectures that he talks about, and I noticed that he talks about spiritual architectures and not religious architectures, followed more or less the same principles. So whether it was the techniques or the design elements or the management of directions or spaces, including the west-east axis, or the connection with nature. So while they have different kinds of religious and political constituencies, there are certain elements which remain constant within that university. And how finally he alerts us to many things obviously, but two things which were very striking to me is that special considerations that we need to do in the conservation of spiritual architecture, and how also spiritualism could serve as a sustainability tool. So thank you very much. I think we can take some questions now. Yes, well, let's go in the order in which the hands were raised. So you and then we will receive.
Hi sir. You spoke about the importance of Vastu in conscious architecture and how those design elements should be implemented by creating building conscious architecture. In that,